Hello people, today let's try making simple batch application inside AWS service. Batch app is a service running periodically with predefined schedule and usually don't require additional action by user for further work. It runs on background of system and updates the status of running services. For example, we could run web scraper and update to database once in a day, or call specific API once in a minute to confirm it is alive. And for this, AWS Lambda is a perfect fit to do such a job like this because it only requires cost by use time, and batch job runner don't need to be woke up except schedule time. So if your job don't require heavy processing, as you know, Lambda had running time limitation. I think this can be think as a prior option. You can write code through AWS console directly, but by using AWS SAM, you can make function logic with easily configured trigger and managed permission. AWS SAM is shortened of serverless application model, and it is framework you can use to build serverless application. It is some kind of package template based on Lambda, integrated with event source and more other services to build application. Okay, here you can see the guideline to install the SAM command line tool. So go on before moving on to the next step. Here's what I'm gonna do. As you can see here, this service offers API to fetch news data. I'll try to call this inside batch job and will update the status. In the API, there are options to search by date and time. And this is API latest headline, which to fetch the latest news with latest period option. I'll set up as 1 hour to get news from last 1 hour. Total hits here means the number of articles in this period. So I will make function that calling this API every hour and store total hits and time to DynamoDB. Okay, after SAM command line tool has been installed, let's try making it. CLI tool is offering multiple templates, so you don't need to do it from scratch. Okay, here are some options called from Quick Start template. There are scheduled tasks for, and if you want to run it based on .NET or Node, you can choose this. But I'll just start with Hello World example to describe which part needs to be configured for batch job. Okay, let's start one. Okay, now starting piece of the SAM application based on Python has been created. Here, there are Python SDK for Newscatcher API. So I'll use this for this function. Installing the Newscatcher API and call the client like this. And there are also latest headline API here. So I'll use this one. And here's the DynamoDB table, the news table. So it has partition key as a UUID, This will be generated with UUID API in the Python. And sort key is the updated at. It will keep the updated date. If we are planning to use the TTL, time to live, then we should maybe use the UTC timestamp format, but this is just for test and just for the good visualization. I'll just use the string format to show the time directly. This is the starting piece for SAM in Python. Here, you can find most of configuration for deployment inside template.yaml file in root directory. Properties and resources are defining the location of code. Handler name is lambda underscore handler in app.py file, and it is located inside hello underscore world directory. Events, you can see type name as API, and it means following event will be triggered by API call. But in our case, we need to trigger function with defined schedule, so remove the current event configuration and name type as schedule. Oh, mistake. And here's the way how to make configuration for defining the schedule. So you can use cron expression or rate expression. Cron expression, you'll be pretty familiar with this. It is commonly used to scheduling the jobs. And the rate expression, this is more simple. It is based on value and units, so give the positive number and the unit as minute and hour and day and so on. I'll run this once an hour, so right like this. Output configuration here is configuration for integrating with API gateway. It is not needed for this case, so remove it. And for DynamoDB connection, we need to define policies to access from this function. We need to read and write, DynamoDB CRUD policy, and table name here, it is news table. If the service only needs to read, you can use DynamoDB read policy instead. So configure has done, now go to code. Okay, here are the starting piece code, but we're not gonna use this. Let's remove it. And remove the importings and import UUID to give the UUID and import the date time to get the current time and import bottle3 to call the AWS resources. And last is the newscatcher API and import the client. Okay, this is all we need to do this. And we need to add the requirements. Okay, bottle3 is default imported for the lambda function, so we only need to add the newscatcher here. Okay, First, define API key. You need to bring this from this newscatcher service. And first, define the DynamoDB resource. And with this resource, get the table from the DynamoDB. Table name is news table. And news API is to keep the client, give the API key information here. And call the news API with get latest headlines. And I'll give some configuration, language as en, and the duration, it is when to 1 hour. Now we got the data, so we will push the data to the DynamoDB. We will use put item because we only need to push single item. If there are multiple items, we need to use batch write, but for now we only need this. So set up, the first item will be UUID to keep the primary key, and yeah, get it from the UUID API, and define a string because it'll indicate as UUID object if we do not do like this. And updated at, as I commented, this will be the string format, so date time now and string format. Okay, and the last one is the total hits. It is from the latest article. The key name is total hits. Okay, done. It's pretty simple thing. Okay, now call SAM build to pack it up. Okay, now it has been packaged, and call SAM deploy, but yeah, because configuration has not been configured, so we need to first use SAM deploy guided option. Configuration which needed for the deployment, it is stack name is SAM batch job, and yeah, other thing as default. Okay, it has started. It'll for the first running, it'll pretty take much time for a few minutes, so speed up. Okay, now it has been deployed. After the first deployment, the configuration you have first set up at the guided process, it'll be kept on the samconfig.toml file. If you see it, yeah, it includes the stack name and S3 information and region information and other things. Okay, I've spent few hours, and let's see the resources which we've deployed are working or running correctly. See the lambda function. Okay, we can find the lambda function has been deployed correctly. Okay, and okay, here's the DynamoDB, and see the tables. Okay, there are no item summary, but this is being updated every 6 hours, so let's explore the item directly. And you can see the two items exist. And if you see the updated ad, it has been updated every hour. It is running correctly, and total hits, UUID, are correctly updated. Okay, we could check that the application has running successfully. And to delete the application, we need to only run SAM delete. It is pretty cool because we don't need to think about deleting separated resources one by one. If we just press SAM delete, and it'll remove all the related resources. Okay, so this is it for today. I hope this can be some of help for your work, and see you at the next video.